Well, hello, everyone. This is Samara Grace, and this is the 2/2/2023 Mother Mary monthly message. I hope you're all doing well. I hope you're prospering. I hope that you're feeling healthy and good and happy. And my wish today is to just deliver to you some wisdom and information from Mother Mary that hopefully you will find incredibly, incredibly helpful and powerful and good. And so what I want to tell you is this is the time to really, really understand the power that you have. And people think about power. I don't know if I want to have any power. Look at how power is being abused all over the planet. Yes. And if we can come into our power, our empowerment, and really bring everything we want to bring, love and compassion and community, wow, that's going to make a big difference in the world. So in just a moment, you'll see me close my eyes and say a little prayer and bring Mother Mary in, and she will talk about life and wisdom. My website for anybody who's new to this is samaragrace.com. I also have a YouTube channel where all of the previous recordings can be found, and also on Facebook at Mother Mary Messages. So welcome, welcome, welcome. And so without further ado, let me take just a moment and bring forth the amazing, beautiful, and wise Mother Mary. Well, so hello, everyone. I want to just get right to it because this is new year, new possibilities, new sorts of all kinds of things that can happen for you. And I want you to be aware that it's time to move into the driver's seat. So many times you think, well, what do you mean by that? And what I mean by that is realize you are the creator and the chooser of so much of your life. Despite whatever you think is going on out there, you are the one that hopefully can be, should be driving the vehicle, car, limo, bus, train, boat, whatever you want to pick. So what's missing? Why is it that you may feel less than adequate, less than powerful, less than aware of how to make the changes you want to make in your lives? Like, what's going on? Well, what I want to say, and I want to try to hopefully keep it as simple as possible. If you want to change the world out there, and most of you know the answer to this, you have to change the world in here. If you don't like what you're seeing out there, believe me, part of it is a reflection of something in here. So how do we shift? How do we change something in here when maybe we're not even aware of it? It's subconscious, it's a pattern, it's a belief system from another life or a childhood trauma or whatever, or failures that you feel you've had. So if you want to change what's out there, you have to begin within. And the thing I want to really emphasize today is that for many of you, because you wouldn't be listening to me if you weren't already a heart-centered, loving person who wants to live in a beneficent world, you wouldn't be here. You'd be off doing something else. So what's the problem? Why aren't we able to move ahead with all these wonderful ideas that we want to share with each other? What's keeping us from doing that? And the very simple answer is listen to what your inner voice is saying to you. Because here's where the damage can begin and often has remained. So if the voice that guides you is a critic, and this is often the harshest critic in your life, right? Other people can say things and you can be upset about it for a minute or a day or a week or a month, but it's that inner critic that has an unceasing barrage of, well, you could have done it better. You should have done it better. You didn't really accomplish very much today. And so that debilitating, demeaning, judgmental, awful voice keeps diminishing your ability to feel powerful and to take back your power from some misguided idea that that voice is the voice of love, because it is not. And what's difficult is many of you were taught to strive, get it done, do more, come on, get on with it, come on, compete, come on, come on, come on. And there's a lot of that that can be helpful in certain times in your life. But generally speaking, it is not what propels you in the direction you really want to go. I mean, how many of you have achieved something and going, oh, all right, well, what's next, right? Oh, that wasn't that big a deal. All right, what's next? And what that is this unceasing criticism that there's something out there that you need to do or achieve or have or be, that in the moment you feel you are not achieving or being or having. So that disparity between what you think you need to be doing, having, being, and how you're feeling lowers your frequency, lowers your vibration, brings you into a state of sometimes apathy, sometimes anger, most of the time just feeling inadequate. And again, this is a proportional thing. So it's not that that's always happening 100% of the time to each of you. But if you're not feeling happy in your life, honestly, this is the enemy within. The enemy within is that critic that keeps saying something to you along the lines of, you are not enough. You are insufficient. You didn't do it right. And so what that does is it cripples the momentum and the power of just continuing. Now, are there failures? Are there times when things don't work out? Absolutely. Absolutely. But it's what you tell yourself about that that makes all the difference. If you say to yourself, well, I tried, I tried. And next time, maybe I'll do a little better, or next time I'll do it a different way, but I try. But instead, so many times you say, oh boy, that wasn't very good, and therefore I'm not very good. And this discrepancy, this disparity is truly the enemy within. Because imagine for just a moment, and this is my wish for all of you, imagine for just a moment that you could cultivate a gentler companion. Write that down. I choose to cultivate a gentler companion. What does that mean? So when the voice says, that spaghetti you made, Samara has a funny spaghetti story. Maybe talk about it, maybe not, and it was a flop. The pasta was too overdone and the meatballs were bland and the sauce was like ketchup. You can beat yourself up for months about it, or you can say, you know what? That wasn't very good. So I'm going to go on YouTube and see if E. Merrill's cooking spaghetti tonight, learn from him. So the difference is, do you minimize your own effort, or do you simply say, let me see who perhaps knows more about that or could help me do it better the next time? So in this process, it is not that you become lethargic and apathetic and just go, well, I did the best I could, oh well. You take that moment and you say, you know what? I tried. And that's more than a lot of people do who are driving through the McDonald's drive-through night after night. At least you tried. But next time you maybe have a better recipe. So to cultivate a kinder companion is to change the voice in your head. Oh my, this can be a lifelong process. But you begin by just being kinder to yourself. Would you say to your best friend or your child or your husband or wife what you're saying to yourself? I hope not. I hope not. So what you begin to realize is that if you want to be peaceful, if you want to live in contentment, what is required is a kinder companion. To be your own best friend is how some people talk about it. But again, what does that really entail? What does that mean? And it really means speaking to yourself as a beloved, as your own beloved, and realizing you are doing the best that you can in any given moment, even if it looks like a flop. Spaghetti with ketchup. Oh, well, you know, you just keep going. Because what's happened really is that in your head, this negative or critical voice is like kind of a mean scorekeeper. You know, well, you did that all right, but look over here, you didn't do this and you didn't do this and you didn't do that. And how many of you have had 20 compliments and 1 complaint, and what do you remember? You remember the complaint. Why? Because your mind is wired from childhood to believe somehow that you are enough, that you are not enough. And that, of course, is not true, but it feels true, and it's often reinforced by different things that happen, and then by that internalized voice that says, well, that wasn't very good. So my wish for you tonight is that you develop a way of speaking to yourself as your own beloved. A practice that I find very beautiful and helpful is in the morning, when those of you that meditate, you light a candle or whatever, and you take out your journal and you just write, good morning, beloved. We have another day ahead. And the score we want to keep is, can I continue to be peaceful, kind, and compassionate? Whether or not I finish my 26 to-do things is an entirely different issue. My scorekeeping now, the choice I want to make, is that I choose to be kind. I choose to offer myself as a light, as a blessing. I choose to be loving to my body. I choose to eat what feels nurturing to me and drink what feels nurturing to me, and to say no to those things that don't interest me or feel nurturing. And so what begins to happen is that your inner world becomes congruent with who you really are. And now, instead of your eye finding what you would criticize out there, your eye begins to find the good. And again, I'm not talking about pie in the sky, pretending it's going away. I'm talking about becoming sacrosanct, becoming sovereign as a soul, to realize I'm in charge of my light. And my light diminishes when I criticize myself and grows when I praise myself. Now I want to talk for just a moment about praise. Seldom is praise handled correctly. Because if you simply say to someone, oh, that's wonderful, that's great, that's beautiful, whatever, oftentimes there's a sense of disassociation. Because again, we're talking about growing up with all the criticisms that we've all had. But if you can say, what a beautiful table you have set. I love how you've laid out the dishes and the napkins. It feels so inviting. So what you've done, and notice the difference, instead of being critical, you are taking that discernment and finding what is worthy of praise, what is beautiful, what is special about what you're seeing. And so you're training your mind and your voice to speak the good, to see the good, and of course also to hear the good. So now, instead of being pummeled by the world and pummeled by this critic, it's like, no, I'm sort of that calm in the storm. And I'm noticing what I choose to praise that feels honoring, that is correct, including myself, but also including others. I'm going to give you a very funny small example. So a little while ago, Samara went to her neighbors to say hello, and there were 10 or 12 people there and all sitting around the table. And the light, the sun was setting and shining in on one of the ladies, so she couldn't see everyone else, right? And Samara looked and she noticed it, but she didn't immediately leap up. But the woman across from her noticed, leaped up, went to the window shades, pulled down the window shades so the other woman wouldn't have the light in her eyes. Beautiful. But Samara said to the woman who'd leaped up, she said, you know, I noticed it too, but I didn't leap up. How wonderful that you did. How wonderful that you did. And she kind of, you know, it was small, but you see what I mean? It was specific, in the moment, praise, honoring her for doing something and, you know, jumping up and doing it. So it's when you start to do that, you start to refract and dissipate everything that is not congruent with how you are living, how you are sharing your light, and how you are being. Is it easy when you've been trained to be critical? No. But is it blessed? Is it nurturing? Is it expansive? Is it freeing? Yes, 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 and yes. So it's worth it. It's really worth it. And so whenever you find yourself feeling at odds with what's out there, stop for a moment and think, what's at odds in here? Why am I only seeing the negative? Why am I criticizing someone for, I don't know, being too loud, you know, crossing the double yellow line when they're trying to get past, whatever disturbed you, right? And you think, what is this? And the answer is really pretty simple. It's usually, have I loved myself today? And often you may have done some nice things, but what that's telling you is it's insufficient. What you want to have is so much peace of mind and joyousness and love that whatever is happening out there, whether somebody's passing you on the freeway or whatever it is, you can see it, you can notice it, you can be discerning, you can respond to it, but it doesn't throw you off center. And in these times that we're living in, that is truly the most beautiful prayer and way to live that you can do, that you can offer, is to realize, if I want out there to be more peaceful, if I want out there to feel a place of community and love and joy, this is the vessel I've been given to work with. This is the energy field that I must maintain and energize and elevate to the best of my ability. And so in these coming times, which I know for many of you feel more difficult, it is in part because this practice that I'm sharing with you is like the best kept secret somehow, you know. It's not out there, it's in here. It's like we want it to be out there so we can point our fingers and say, oh, that person and that situation and that political party or whatever, but it's in here. That's the secret, to find your own peace and also then to be able to share it with those who come around you. So if you are the scorekeeper, see what you're keeping score with. And I know in your world, often it's material things, and there's nothing wrong with material things. but that's not really designed to create contentment in your scorekeeping, right? Because there's always someone who's got more of this or that, more money, more cars, more houses, whatever. And so it's like, what's important? What feels like a good day to me? What is success for me? To watch a sunset and just feel the beauty, to smile at a child, to be kind, to roll down the shade so someone doesn't have to feel blinded by the light. You know, these are all such small steps, it would seem. And yet that's how the world begins to shift. When you notice, you see, what could I praise today, honestly? Again, not some phrase, I wasn't that great, but really noticing what someone has said or done that you found inspiring or comforting or happy or beautiful. People talk about Valentine's Day, and I think, I want you each to be your own Valentine. That's what I want. Send yourself chocolate or flowers or whatever you like. Take yourself to the spa. Take yourself on a hike. Take yourself somewhere. Because the amount of love that you give to yourself fills the fountain and then allows you to share it in whatever way with those around you. There's a lot of pain in the world right now. I know a number of you have been going through falling and hurting yourselves and this and that. And none of us in our realm want any of you to have pain. It is not our punishment. It is not karma. It is not any of that. Sometimes it is an opportunity, not a lesson, an opportunity to realize, am I somehow out of balance? What is that, to be out of balance? And what causes you to be out of balance and what brings you back into balance? And so again, many of you I know are wonderful givers, right? Very good at giving. And now you've had the opportunity to be on the other end of that. And sometimes it feels a bit uncomfortable. But what I encourage you to do is to envision all of these beautiful figure eights, that what you give, you receive. What you receive, you give. And so if it's your time to be receiving, do it with gratitude and grace and appreciation. And if it feels right, to send back a little praise. That soup you brought me was manna from heaven. When you stopped by and got my mail for me, I was so grateful. Thank you for being so thoughtful. And so what the world is lacking right now in large measure is no one is seeing, hearing, speaking, and feeling loved. Because if you are being seen and heard and felt and loved, that's all you want to give back. You don't want to hurt anyone. You don't want to blow up buildings or shoot people or all these terrible things that are happening. So I'm not blind to what is going on out there. I'm not. And I wish it weren't so. But how do you shift a world from a world of such competition and loneliness to a world of peace and compassion? You become one of Mary's angels. And what does that mean? For now, all it really means is you recognize that I cannot give what I do not have. And the one I can definitely be in charge of giving to is myself. So I'm going to give myself a candle in the morning, a cup of hot tea or coffee, whatever you like, and 15 minutes of gratitude, appreciation, and praise for myself and all the gifts I have in the world. If you do that, your day will be beautiful. And then when you are ready to go to bed that night, as you lie down after you've brushed your teeth and washed your face and gotten into bed, before you drift off, just go through the day and say, oh, wow, thank you for that moment. Thank you for that moment of, again, whatever was in your day. So now what you've done is you shifted from someone who is watching the world in dismay, which does it no good, to someone who is participating in offering the gifts you have come to bring, first to yourself, and then to any and all throughout your day. So it is the most important secret practice that I could say to you is to sing your own praises. And darlings, this is not ego. It is not ego. It is not ego. It is acknowledgement of the light you bring. Let me say it one more time. This is not ego. This is an acknowledgement of the light that you bring. And when you do your little scorekeeping at the end of the day, you think, wow, yeah, I smiled at that person. I took an extra minute in the grocery store to ask the clerk, how's it going? All of these things is how you change the world out there, because you have changed the world in here. And so to all of you in the coming days, be your own Valentine. If you've had this rather rough critic in your head, always telling you you're not enough and you should have done it better, and so is better than you at this or that, you know, send them to their room and choose to have a kinder companion, someone you want to have on your shoulder saying, good job, way to go, way to go. And all of us, myself and all the angelic realm, are with you, cheering you on and hoping with all of our hearts that you know you are powerful, you are beautiful, you are wonderful, and the time is now to create, create, create from the power within to the world without, by acknowledging and loving yourselves. So I want to wish you all a very beautiful February. I expect to see the Valentines you're writing to yourself and presents of chocolate and roses and whatever given to yourselves as well as to others. But don't forget yourselves, because it is in the withholding, it is in the withholding that the depression arrives and the voice gets louder that tells you it's your fault, and it's not. So be the fountains, dear one. We love you so much. And you can reach Samara online at samaragrace.com. And we hope to see you again soon. And for anyone on the call, we're just going to stop the recording and give us a chance to chat. Much love. Namaste.